So these are cones, and a cone, like an ice cream cone, it has a circle and it has what's called the lateral area, okay? So in the picture here, this is the lateral surface. Okay, the L here is for what we call the slant height. Okay, and I'll show you why. So the cone is going to have a circular base, it's going to have an apex, okay, and then the L is this slanting height here on both sides, okay? It's a height that slants, so it's a slant height, and the actual height would go from the center of the circle up to the apex. So that's the actual height, okay? Slant height is L. H is straight up and down. Okay, this is what we call a net when we take apart the cone. We already know about radius, we already know about pi. The note about pi, which I said in the last video too, if it says to use 3.14, use 3.14. Okay. And then we're going to be really careful here with whether they give us the radius or the diameter. Okay. This is the diameter. Diameter equals 2 radii. So if they give you the diameter, you're going to have to cut it in half and then use the radius, okay? Because these formulas both use the radius. You've got r here, r here. Let's do some problems. They're basically, I mean, there are two big types of problems here, and then for these word problems, so there's the type where they give you the diameter, and there's the type where they give you the radius. Okay, so that's the first thing to look at. Did they give you the diameter or the radius? If you look here in this first problem, they're giving us the diameter, and in the second problem, they're also giving us the diameter. Okay, so we're going to want to cut that in half to get the radius. The other thing to think about when we're doing these word problems is, are they going to cover the round part? Okay, so this one says, a cook wants to cover the side of a cone-shaped funnel with parchment paper to avoid leaks or spills. The funnel has a diameter of 6 inches and a slant height of 4 inches. How many square inches of parchment paper is needed to cover the side? Oops, I thought I still had the highlighter there. Let's erase that and then highlight it. We are just covering the side of the funnel. Okay, that means we're not gonna, so if you unwrap the funnel and then here's the sides of it, remember from that picture, slant height is L. We do not want to cover the circle in this one. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, kind of like the video that you watched yesterday, if you watched my video, we're going to leave out this orange part. Okay, and we're only going to use this part here, pi r L. All right, so let me write that down. Pi r L, where L is the slant height. We're going to use 3.14 for pi, and we're going to round to the nearest hundredth. Okay, so if I'm given here that the slant height is 4 inches and the diameter is 6 inches, I'm going to find the radius. That's half of the diameter. 3. Radius is 3. Okay, now I'll write my formula. Surface area is pi r L. I write it every time with the variables because it helps me remember it. Over time, I'll memorize it. 3.14 times the radius, which is 3, times the slant height, which is 4. Okay, so let's color code this a little bit. So remember that the slant height was given in the problem right here. That's the 4. That's the L in the formula. Okay. Remember that the diameter was given right here, 6 inches. Okay. So we cut that in half to get the radius of 3. Here's the radius in the formula. There's the 3. And then 3.14, I had to know that. Oh, but they did give it in the problem. Whoops, here it is. Use 3.14 for pi. Okay, so they gave me that one. They didn't make me memorize that one. Okay, and now all I have to do, guys, is multiply this in a calculator. Okay, so 3.14 times 3 times 4. I'm getting this. They said to round to the nearest hundredth. Done and done. It's already there. Okay, the 8 is in the hundredths place. And that's exactly the answer I was supposed to get. Thank goodness. I love when I get it right. Okay, this was from your practice. It was number 4. Okay, so 37.68. Okay, and they already wrote it, but it's square inches because it is area. Okay, let's look at this cone. A designer is creating a modern art sculpture of an hourglass out of steel to be on display at the town library. The hourglass is made by 2 cones meeting at the top point. The designer wants to know how many square feet of steel is needed for the outside of the sculpture if the slant height of each cone is 5 feet and the diameter is 8 feet. Okay, so let's make sure we know what is going on in this problem. I'm going to just get a picture of an hourglass here. Oh, yes. Okay, so you could imagine one that had kind of sharper sides and a flat top, and it would look like 2 cones put together. Okay. Now it says that if you look here, this is a really important part. Let's do a little highlighting. So let's see, 2 cones, and how many square feet of steel is needed for the outside? That tells me I'm going to be finding the surface area. Okay. And then they're giving me the diameter, and the slant height is 5. So that means I have everything I need. Okay. The formula here for surface area is, oh, I forgot it already. I remember the second part is pi r squared, pi r l. So I think the other part is pi r squared because it's a circle, right? So pi r squared and then plus pi r l is the whole surface, the whole outside. Okay. Pi r squared plus pi r l. Okay, but remember, we have 2 of those cones. So I'm going to put a 2, and then I'm going to put all of this in parentheses because that would give me the surface area of 1. So if I multiply by 2, then I'll have the surface area of both cones. Okay? 2 times 3.14. The radius, diameter is 8. Radius is 8 divided by 2. Okay, could this problem be any harder? They gotta give me the diameter, huh? Okay, plus 3.14, I'm doing the pi r l part now, times the radius, which is 4, times L, which was given in the problem. It's right here. 5 feet is the slant height. Yikes, look at this. We have so much stuff to do here. Okay, really quickly, let me just show you where all the numbers are coming from. So it said the slant height is the 5 feet. That's here. That's L. Okay, the radius I had to figure out, the diameter was 8. That made the radius equal to 4. Okay, and there are 2 times in the formula where I need the radius. Okay, I'm going to square the radius here, and I'm going to multiply by the radius here. Okay, everything else in the formula it doesn't change. Pi is there. Remember we did this 2 on the outside because there were 2 cones. Okay, let me see, I've got one more color so I can show you that. So there were 2 cones, and that's why I have this 2 here and here. Okay, I'm going to zoom in on this a little bit. Oh yeah, that's better. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our gems on. Okay, meaning we're going to simplify this by following the order of operations. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and write gems and check it off as I do it. Remember that G is for grouping symbols. We've got some of those. Okay, E is for exponents. We've got those. Okay, M is for multiplication and division. We're going to do that left to right. S is for subtraction. We also have addition. Again, we'll do that left to right. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do here is my exponent. 4 to the second power means 4 times 4. That's 16. And just like I did in yesterday's video, I'm going to bring everything else down. That's all I'm going to do in this step. That's it. Okay. It's really easy to make a mistake in a problem like this because it has so much going on. So I'm going to show all the work. That way, you know, if I do make a mistake, I can go back and find it. Okay, so I'm still kind of working inside the grouping symbol, and the next thing I'm going to do is multiply. Okay, 3.14 times 16 is 50.24. Okay, let's see what 3.14 times 4 times 5 is. And that is showing up as 62.8. Okay, that's all I'm going to do in this step. Okay, I'm actually, so in this step I was doing grouping, and then within grouping I was doing the exponents. Here I'm still doing grouping, but I'm doing multiplication. Okay, my next step is still grouping because I'm still in the parentheses, and I'm going to add. So what you see here is we're following gems inside the parentheses, just doing the first step of gems. Okay, so let me go ahead and add those together. I'll just do it in the calculator. 824. Okay, I'm getting 113.04. 113.04. Okay, and look at this. They have a wrong answer. That is that. Okay, that would be the answer if you didn't find the surface area of both of those cones. Okay, so beware, they are anticipating your mistakes. Okay, let's go ahead and double this. I'm getting 226.08. Just what I was supposed to get. Thank goodness. Okay, and then just a reminder, when we find any kind of area, we use square units. Okay, so that's that one. Good luck with these, guys. Take your time, show your work, get that scratch paper out and use it, use it, use it.